what you expect to hear. Property rights and inheritance rights. Yeah.
The position of a woman in the two. Where do I fall?
Okay.
As a girl, do I have a right to own property in my father's home?
Thank you. Any other? Okay, I'll go to what I had prepared. So, first of all, I looked at the statistics, especially on property holding with a focus on land. And it is saddening that according to Kenya Land Alliance, women hold only 1% of registered land as single owners, like a single proprietor. 1%, you can imagine. Out of all the acreage we have in Kenya, we hold 1%. Then we hold 5 to 6% jointly. It can be jointly with your spouse, it can be jointly with your sibling, jointly with your business partner. So that is the reality as it is on the ground. This basically means that we are not yet there. That despite the fact that our constitution is telling us that every person has the right to hold property, that it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man, you should hold property without being discriminated. On the ground, it is not what is on paper. Yeah? Of course, the law has given us that power to hold property. Your question, whether you can hold, you can own, you can hold. Yeah? Our constitution under Article 40 provides for that right to property. Yeah? And the same constitution under Article 27 provides for non-discrimination, meaning that you can hold property as a woman, as a girl, as long as you're over 18, that is when you have the legal capacity to hold property. If you're under 18, you can hold property, but a trustee has to hold that property for you until you get to the age of 18. So I will look at what the previous position was in our laws. So previously, our repealed constitution under section 82 was quite discriminative because it allowed discrimination with respect to matters, division of property, inheritance, and all that. So you'll find that before that constitution, before the current constitution, actually women could basically be denied to hold property. Yeah? Because, yes, that is what our law says, and it's the law for the day. So you couldn't hold property. If your customary law stated that, you cannot hold property. But thanks to the 2010 constitution, yeah, which has brought a new dawn, we can hold property. We can go to court if our right to property is infringed. We can go to court if our right to inherit is denied, and all that. So what is the current position with respect to property holding and inheritance? As I've already said, the Constitution under Article 40 has given that right to us. The same when you look at the Law of Succession Act, which was written in 1981, and I think that is why it is still discriminatory towards women. But basically that is the governing law when it comes to inheritance and all that. But the foundation is the Constitution under Article 27, that everyone has the right not to be discriminated. So when it comes to inheriting, as a lady, as a woman, as a girl, I should be able to inherit from my parents, from my spouse, from my mother, generally. But that is not the situation on the ground, because when we look at the Law of Succession Act, yeah, generally the way it is structured, for example, if my spouse dies, yeah, as a woman, I can only hold a life interest on that property. Life interest means I hold that property during my lifetime. When I die, that is it. Yeah. And you'll find that the only thing I can also inherit is household effects. Yeah, like the sofas, curtains, bed, yeah. Those things that don't hold water. Yeah. When my husband has houses in
Rentals.
Rentals in Kamakis, Tasia, yeah, but I can only have a life interest. It means that I cannot even transfer that property without the consent of my children if they are of age. So they have to consent before I sell, yeah. So it is quite tricky. I cannot even take a loan, because the moment I go to a bank with that title deed and it reads my husband, and of course he's late, then the next question is, yeah, I don't have any legal right Yeah? And it's even the pastor who went to visit her and tell her that for peace to reign in the church, don't come. So you see the kind of things that are happening. Yeah? And there's nothing she can do because the court process is also taking long. So she has to bear with that, which is very unfortunate. Yeah? The other reason is economic dependence on men, over-dependence. Dependence is okay, but over-dependence is where the problem comes in. To the extent that when it comes to making a decision on acquiring property, yeah, you can only maybe give ideas, but financially, you know, maybe it's my husband who will take care of that, yeah? So when that day comes to go and even sign the sale agreement, you'll find that the sale agreement has only one purchaser, that is your husband. Yeah, wewe uko hapo kama witness. Signed in the presence of where you see Audrey, yeah? So it makes it much harder because when we have economic independence, you can make decisions because I will not contribute to the property and then you're telling me the title deed should read your name alone. It is not that way.
Sure.
It should have two joint holders. Yeah? Yes. Even if I'm contributing 30,000 and the property is 1 million, 2 million.
Yetu.
Ni yetu. Yeah, I have invested. So also, as PC will be talking to us about economic independence, I think it is something that we should also look into as women. The other thing is we also don't participate in decision making. Yeah, you just find your spouse comes home and tells you, kuna shamba huko Kimangeti, nimenunua. Unashangaa, you didn't even tell me. You didn't even ask for my opinion. And automatically, if he tells you, it already means that he's the only purchaser. So you are just there to
say okay.
Okay, ni sawa. Sasa nitaenda kupanda huko mahindi. Wewe unaenda kufanya kazi kwa hiyo shamba, ni unapanda miwa, ikikatwa permit ni yeye anapewa, account ni yake, pesa inaingia, and the cycle continues. Yeah. So being able to sit at the decision making table when you're making decisions on investment alternatives and whatnot also gives you that opportunity to determine to be part of that ownership of the project or the properties. Lastly, we have widowed inheritance. Yeah, you might just find that yes, you are able to inherit and you have the papers, but now it's not enough to have that title. But are you in ownership? Are you the one possessing the property? Now you might have the property, but it's your brother-in-law who is farming. It's your brother-in-law who is doing everything on that property. So on paper, you are the legal owner. In practice, you're not. You're not, because you've been disinherited. Yeah? So what is the effect of such? The effect of these challenges, of course, is the economic hardships that come with that. Because you'll find that properties such as land, they are the main factors of production. They run the economy. Land runs the economy. Houses are built on land. Everything is done on land. So most income is generated from land. So if you're not able to hold property, then it means your economic muscle is weak. Then the other effect is violence, as I've already mentioned. you'll find that most communities, especially where the culture doesn't kind of allow women to inherit, there's some sort of violence that is propagated towards them. If you assert your position that now this is my husband's property, I want to inherit, you'll find that there's a lot of violence, either physical, it can be emotional violence, yeah, that is asserted to you. Then homelessness, this is the point where you're told, now leave our brother's property, yeah, and that is where your matrimonial home is. So maybe you have to now start looking for a rental. Then the other one is the inability to access credit from financial institutions, especially secured credit. Because when you go to a bank for credit and maybe they require security, mostly of course they'll ask you for maybe the logbook, or they'll ask you for the title deed, or they'll ask you for movable goods, yeah? For example, if you have a shop, they'll ask you for such things. But if you're not able to hold any property, if you don't have anything because of the circumstances I've mentioned, no bank will give you that loan. Yeah, at least you should make them feel happy that when you default, we can come to sell your house, we can come to sell your car. But if I don't have a title deed in my name, I cannot get, unless I'm able to convince someone